Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to Jenny-esque. I really appreciate your patience as it's been a hot minute since my last video, and I will tell you why momentarily. I did want to also express my appreciation for your watching, for your subscribing, and if you haven't yet, please do click the bell for notifications, ding, 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 and you won't miss out. So the reason it's been a hot minute since my last video is that I actually had a trip to Florida. This trip had been planned for months. It involved a family wedding, visiting my mom, visiting my team from Team Oxy, client meetings, and a whole array of fun. And in particular, we had the family wedding of my cousin's daughter. Shout out to the Roth Liebenthals. I had an amazing time with my cousins. It was a beautiful event through and through. The whole weekend was amazing. And then I got to hang with my mom, my niece, my brother, and meet with clients, meet with my team, meet with friends. And it was just, I was like a whirling dervish this whole trip. So here's the best part. When I had placed the order for the Neverfull World Tour, there was a chance that it would arrive prior to my trip, but they were kind of saying probably not. Well, lucky for me, I got a text from Ricardo a couple days before my departure saying, guess what? The world tour is in. So despite all the things I had to still do to prepare for the trip, the packing and the last minute things and yada, 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 we did go to the Short Hills Mall and picked up my Neverfull World Tour, and I rocked it the whole trip. And let me tell you, when you start using a bag like the Neverfull, and even though I did kind of push it to the limit for traveling purposes, it's hard to go back to a smaller bag, especially if you're on vacation, you know, and you're in a place like Florida and you need sunglasses, but you need a jacket for air conditioning, and you know, you need all sorts of different things, the makeup, all the things. So I actually rocked so much in there. I had a denim jacket at all times. I had sunglasses. I had a baseball cap. I had all my pouches of makeup and all the things that I carry typically. And drum roll please. Can't wait to show you. I'm gonna do a little twirl. I'm not that great at twirling. My mother was a baton twirler back in the day. But this will have to do. So now let me share with you what went into my selection process. So first item of distinction, the black handles. I went with the black handles for a variety of reasons, among which I am pretty klutzy. I'm not the most careful person, although I am working on that. I'm being a little more gingerly with things. The black, I feel like it's gonna take a lot more to damage or distress it than the delicate vachetta, although it is a beautiful, you know, color choice as well. The interior is red that comes with the black, but that's right away one of the hallmarks of the Neverfull World Tour option, is that you can get these black handles, which is not an option otherwise for the Neverfull. It also, it was brought to my attention by Ricardo, and I totally see it. It's a little more structured on the bottom than the typical World Tour. So I'm not sure why, but it was just a point of interest. Now, let me talk a little bit about the front of the bag. I am someone who likes to mix things, eclectic, and I love juxtaposition of old and new, and you know, vintage and current and trends and past. And so I really aspired to have a piece that I thought represented that essence. And so in terms of the pop, I chose the classic lock. I think many of us associate LV with the lock. And the black and white, I just thought it was a nice pop of color and tied in very nicely with the customization I chose, which was azulai. And I have told my son, maybe one day, my future daughter-in-law will have this bag. We'll see. And I chose Milano. I've been to Milan. I love the city. I think it's so chic and fashionable, and we associate Milan with style. And aside from that, I just love the coloration of the depiction and all of the alignment together. As I mentioned in my earlier video, when I went into this, I must have done dozens of permutations, dozens, and spent hours. And it wasn't just about the city or the piece or the pop. It was also how they looked together and in the alignment that is available per piece. So then let's switch to the back. Now in the back, I went with Paris, and I went with the oblong shape of Paris. They actually had more than one Paris option. I went with this LV, like, to me, this looks like a vintagey, like tried and true, showing the legacy of the brand and the history of the brand, which is what I loved about it. And then the blue, I just thought the blue was like very remarkable. Like, love the color, and that really does pop, you know, as they call them, pop. And to me, like, I found I could wear this with anything, and you could just, I could flip sides. So I could rock this side, I could rock that side. Now let's talk a little bit about the interior. It does have a zippered pouch flap, and, you know, for security purposes, that's where I chose to keep my wallet. I've emptied the bag otherwise though for this video. And it also has the pouch. So on this side, it has echoes these two pop pieces, and then it has the Milan. And on this side, it has the Paris and the blue pop. The inside of the pouch was very handy for the phone. I often just kept it open and had my phone in there. And then like another little compartment, I had like alcohol wipes in there, so for quick sanitization. And throughout my trip, I constantly was efficiently able to compartmentalize and have different pouches and hold a ton of stuff. And I never felt it was heavy, actually. I went many times on walks, for like, I held it for quite some time, and I didn't have like fatigue or anything. So in addition to getting customized products such as through LV, like I did with my world tour, you can also get one of my custom Hamsa t-shirts. This is hand illustrated by me. I actually got a pop-up reminder, I think on Instagram, showing that I posted this a little over a year ago. And the anniversary was exciting for me because when I drew that, and this was also because my husband has been encouraging me to get back to my artistic roots in drawing, and I started drawing on the iPad. And the moment he saw it, his initial reaction was like, wow, this needs to go on a shirt. And so here we are. We've learned a lot in the production process, and very happy with the results, and excited to see some growing fanship, and would certainly appreciate your support. You can get one of these and other designs that we have on our Etsy store. We put up new merch about once a week. Some are hand illustrated styles, and others are fun graphic tees, and others are computer designed and driven. But we have a diverse range of things, and would love your support on our Etsy store. So I wanted to talk a little bit about carrying the bag from a practical perspective. Like I said, I had it pretty full. I know they say never full, but I like a challenge. And I typically do carry on the left side, and I found it very convenient. I wasn't like constantly having to pull on the straps, and I didn't find them digging into me. So it really just was like, it just felt light, and I felt like I had everything I needed, and I didn't feel weighted down or like any annoying like things with the straps or anything negative in that respect. Now also, I don't know if this is a byproduct because it is a custom world tour order, but I was very happy to see that my bag was actually made in France, which is featured. Oh, I don't know that you can really pick that up on the camera, but it's featured on the little leather flap on side of the inner zipper pouch. One other thing, and this is something that I mentioned in my part 1 video on the Neverfull, given that many times I still see a sea of Neverfulls out there because it is such a classic and beautiful piece that everyone should enjoy. At the same time, I did really revel in having one that had some marks of distinction and the personalization. And to me, that was like sort of the little extra something something. And so it just was fun. And I find that it is fun, and it's very versatile. I really I'm in love with the bag. I'm so thrilled that I ordered it. I love everything about it. And I definitely would highly recommend ordering a custom world tour if you are someone who likes to have some pop and elements of color, because it really is pop art. And it is also fashion and it's style. And it's functional. It's extremely functional. And like I said too, because it is a little bit more structured, it really does pack a punch. And for traveling, the other thing I did, and this might be something you would want to do or maybe not bother, but I actually used the dust bag. I put my bag within the dust bag on the airplane on the floor, because I was like, who knows what's on this floor? And I didn't want to damage the bag. So that might be a little pro tip to think about. So in addition to sharing the bag and the design and all that with you, I figured it also would be helpful to see how it is on an actual person. So, you know, oftentimes I found myself going like this when I was grabbing the bag quickly. During my trip to Florida is really where I was rocking this bag the most of late. But typically I carry it on my shoulder. And I just found it was very convenient. Like my hand would just fall right here. And even when I had a ton of stuff in there, I never felt pressure or shoulder fatigue. The straps didn't bother me. They weren't falling. So all around, it's just, I'm thrilled. And I'm very happy with this purchase. And just to give you some perspective, I am 5'1", 117 pounds. So to see where that falls and, you know, put it in perspective. That is in a nutshell my world tour, customization, loving the schmaltz. And I'm curious to know what you would like to hear about. And if you could really please help me out in my little channel that's growing. I would love if you could make comments and be supportive as I'm trying to grow the channel, and it helps with the Google algorithm. And as I am out there sharing my midlife rediscovery and fashion choices and fitness journey and everything that goes along with it, I would love to hear other topics you'd like me to address. And I have a lot of content planned that I can't wait to share with you, but I really also would like to know what you want to hear. Thank you again for tuning into Jenny Ask.